What's the worst legal thing you can do? My dad died and left everything to me and my brother Blake equally. House, business, cars, everything split 50-50. Blake was the executor, so he figured that meant he was in charge. Big mistake. Blake moved into Dad's house and started selling stuff without asking me. Tools, furniture, even Dad's workbench. When I confronted him, he laughed and said, "What are you gonna do? I'm the executor." That workbench thing really got to me. Dad built it himself when I was 12. I used to sit on that little stool next to him every Saturday morning, handing him screws and watching him fix everything from broken lamps to neighbors' lawnmowers. Blake knew how much it meant to me. Hell, he used to complain about Dad always asking me to help instead of him. But Blake was different after the funeral. Cold. Like Dad's death flipped some switch in his head that made him think he deserved everything. Mom tried to stay neutral, but I could see it was tearing her apart. "He's grieving in his own way," she kept saying. But this wasn't grief. This was greed. The breaking point came when I drove by Dad's house and saw strangers loading the workbench into a truck. I pulled over and cried in my car for 20 minutes. That workbench represented every lesson Dad taught me about fixing things, about patience, about doing things right. He hired his sketchy lawyer buddy to put the house on the market way below value. I think they had some deal worked out. When I called Blake crying, begging him to at least talk to me before making decisions, he told me to grow up and stop being so emotional. That's when something broke inside me. This wasn't just about money anymore. This was about Dad's memory, about family, about my brother treating me like I didn't matter. I spent 2 days barely eating, just sitting in my apartment staring at old photos of me and Dad in his workshop. That's when I got my own lawyer, Vanessa Torres, this tough-as-nails family attorney my friend recommended. I walked into her office with a box full of documents, photos, and printouts of Blake's Facebook posts, where he was literally bragging about his new house and inheritance windfall. She looked at Dad's will for 10 minutes and started grinning. "Your brother screwed up," she said. Section 4 says if either heir disposes of estate assets without written consent from both parties, they forfeit their entire inheritance. I started crying right there in her office. Not because I was happy, but because I realized Dad had somehow known this might happen. He'd protected us from each other, even after death. Vanessa handed me tissues and said Dad was clearly a smart man who loved both his sons. We had everything documented. House listing, receipts from sales, texts where Blake bragged about taking charge. He'd been building our case for months without knowing it. Vanessa said she'd never seen someone self-sabotage so thoroughly. The worst part was waiting for the court date. 3 months of Blake posting vacation photos on social media, funded by Dad's stuff. 3 months of family dinners where nobody talked about the elephant in the room. 3 months of Mom asking me if there was any way to work things out. I kept thinking about that last conversation I had with Dad in the hospital. He made me promise to take care of Blake, said we were all each other had left. I wondered what Dad would think about what we'd become. When we served him papers, Blake called screaming. He'd already spent most of the money, and his lawyer stopped returning calls. "You're destroying our family!" he yelled. I told him he'd already done that the day he decided I didn't deserve a say in our father's legacy. Last week, the judge ruled. Blake got nothing. I got the house, the business, and whatever money was left. He's living in some studio apartment now and won't look at me at family events. Sometimes I feel bad, but then I remember him laughing when I begged him not to sell Dad's workbench.